Welcome in a good friend of the show, a man that's going to be leading his Golden Knights up to Findlay for a 2-day camp, and that is our good friend Blad Tackett of Northmore. How you doing, buddy? Did you have a good Father's Day with your kids?
Yeah, yeah, it was the best, man. Played a little golf in the morning, played some more golf in the afternoon, hung out with the boys. Yeah, it was a great day.
Did they take you out somewhere nice to eat, or did the wife make you a nice meal?
Oh man, I think I ended up cooking dinner last night. To be honest, it's one of my guilty pleasures, I guess.
Hey, it's Father's Day. If you like to
Honestly,
do
I
what you
can't
like to
remember.
do, that's fine.
Hey, she's in basketball camp though this week, so
I
it's
got you.
frozen pizza night for sure for us and the boys.
Yeah, there you go. Speaking of basketball camps, you're giving me the opportunity. I don't know why you're doing this, but you're allowing me to sit on a bench with the varsity JV and freshmen up here at Findlay. We'll get into that more in a little bit, but summer basketball. We just get done with the final spring sports of the year, and we're already into next season's preparations. But how has summer basketball gone first for the Golden Knights?
Yeah, it's truly been a great summer. We kind of have an approach that may be a little bit different than other people, but we kind of stay away from the first week of June because it's graduation week for us because we go a little bit later than most schools. And then for about 2.5 weeks, we squeeze about as many days of basketball in as we can, usually anywhere from 8 to 10. And, now they even allow 15, but I doubt we ever use that as a basketball program. So, we're capping it off with Finley tomorrow. And prior to that, the last 2 weeks we've had 6 days where it's been mostly scrimmages and open gyms and one shootout at the NAS. And it's gone great. We've got a lot of people coming back. And so this summer is particularly important for us because we got about 3 or 4 guys trying to battle for, a couple open spots from last year's team. And, they're doing a great job with that. We're having a lot of fun. We're competing really well. So looking forward to capping off summer basketball at Finley next 2 days. But so far it's been great.
And I'm looking forward to getting up at 6 a.m. tomorrow so I can catch the bus with you guys. But in all seriousness, I've gone on trips with you guys to Wittenberg for that shootout down there in Springfield, but this seems like this is a whole different monster up here at Findlay. Explain to me and the folks out there in OH Report Land what is going to go on the next 2 days and what am I getting myself into?
Yeah, it's a really great time. Our kids love to go. There's a lot of great camps around the state of Ohio. When I played, Coach Shelton's always been an Eastern Ohio person, and a lot of the local schools actually are. But I got to Northmore with Coach Ruth. He started a tradition of going to Finley, and it's really we're probably not going to get out of it, to be honest, because it's as soon as the year's over. About 2 weeks later, kids are asking me, where's Finley Camp Forms, what day it is, and they get pretty excited. So it's a pretty cool tradition for us. We wake up, we leave at 7. It's about an hour drive, if that. We check in, and I think that what the kids love it the most is they give us keys. We go walk to the dorms. They get 2 days to live in a college dorm, eat at a college cafeteria. I don't even know if they really get excited for the basketball, but it's just the fact of being on a college campus and away from, the parents for about a day and a half. And, the good part for us coaches is we play a lot of basketball. If I recall, it's about 16-minute halves, running clock. They have officials. There's a halftime, so it's pretty close to game. Like I imagine they'll adjust the free throw rules to mimic the new rule in high school. We play a lot of great teams. Ottawa Glandorf is going to be there. I think they're bringing 2 teams. Winford, the local school, I talked to Winford's JV coach yesterday. They'll be there as well. I imagine we'll run into those guys. I could honestly pull up a list of schools. I think there's about 25 high schools. We take freshmen. We'll take freshman JV varsity tomorrow, and our eighth grade team.
I
Tried
didn't know
to
the
take
eighth grade
seventh
one.
grade team this year. Yeah, yep. Eighth grade's going. They got 12 kids. They're really looking forward to it. We got a super competitive eighth grade team, so I think they'll have a lot of fun. Almost got a seventh grade team there, but it just didn't work out. So, yeah, it's a lot of basketball in a day and a half. Day two is going to be pretty tough. Kids are sore. Games are long. Then you get the tournament, and we've made a run, in the past. There's really like three tiers. So we kind of give Coach Ernst up there, what tier do we want to be in, 1, 2, or 3? We usually fit in around the 2 range. That's basically, Division 3 schools, good D4 schools. We get a lot of great games in. Kids get exhausted, and they get away from home for a couple of days. It's a lot of fun.
And it's not just at the college there in Findlay. It's around the city, right? There's high schools that help you let teams participate there as well.
Yeah, Findlay High School opens up their doors, and then their junior high does as well, which is just a quick, you could walk there if you wanted. And then a couple local churches too, if need be. I think we'll probably play offside a little bit, just because I believe, from what I understood, the camp was so large this time around that they're having another one next week that wasn't on the original schedule.
Wow.
So I imagine, we'll play offside a little bit. Otherwise, it's just that the Kohler Center has, off the top of my head, I want to say five gyms, and then they play in their main gym. They split that into 2. Then we go to Findlay High School, a couple local churches, and the junior high.
And what are you expecting from me the next 2 days here? I mean, I'm giving you all my resources on very little basketball knowledge, but I'm available for whatever you want me to do, other than water polo.
Well,
and that already.
The way I look at it is, you threw me into that color commentating role, a couple times, and I still don't know what I'm doing when I get into those roles. So if you're on the varsity bench, you're coaching, calling timeouts, you're running the huddles. I'll give you our play calls if you want our play calls. We do run a little bit of a looser ship. Some of the guys know like our basic sets, but we really in the summer just focus on our guys learning how to, to play motion offense, really just continuity, transition. We don't call baseline out of bounds. We don't call sideline out of bounds. We call very limited sets. If we just in a situation where we need a bucket late in the quarter or something. So, if you're with us, bud, Coach Maddox and I are probably going to put our feet up once you get to work.
Can be a lot of flex cuts going on there, because that's the only thing I know from my high school days. There's a lot of 4 low going on. Get a little cut off that screen, back reverse layup, everything like that. I am looking forward to it. We're going to I'm going to do an on the road, so we'll have constant updates from the Findlay camp and see how the Golden Knights, all 4 teams, are doing up there. Participation-wise, Blade, how's that going this year? Especially, you have the varsity players, some of them are golfing, recovering from injuries, playing baseball, things like that. But in the lowers, the freshman JV teams, even like the 8th grade teams, how is participation going so far this summer?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. Our guys are pretty committed over the summer, and I think it's because, I tell them right away, like, we're going to have 8 days of contact, amongst 2.5 weeks, and that's it. We got, and I think a lot of coaches would agree. It's even different from when I played. When I played, it was June was strictly for basketball almost, and then we played some baseball for the school, and I would venture to guess that not many people are even doing baseball for the school anymore, because kids are doing travel baseball and paying a lot of money to be a part of those. And so, the school doesn't really need to host one. From the basketball perspective, you got football, although Scott and I work together pretty great. We never schedule anything that conflicts. We are flexible with our youth basketball schedule too. So it's our participation has been good. I don't get real bent out of shape about it. Give me 6 or 7 varsity guys, and we'll play with who we have, and we've done that. We have about 9 guys that we're taking to Finley, and we haven't had all 9 of them there yet together for our first 6 days of basketball this summer. We've had about 4 or 5 guys that haven't missed, but we got guys playing baseball and working and doing other things, and that's okay. I don't get too bent out of shape about it. I don't lose sleep over it. Being there definitely helps and benefits you. But if you can't make it, we survive. As long as our kids are lifting and working on individual skill sets, that's kind of where I hang my hat on, or we hang our hat on. So I'm good with all that. JV's been about the same. A lot of kids playing baseball. 6 or 7 guys, consistently. Haven't had everyone there yet, but we'll have all but one at Finley. Freshman numbers have been great. Freshman kids love basketball. So that's our biggest class we're taking to Finley. It's like our second biggest, I'd say. We're taking 10 or 11. And then our 8th grade class is big too, and they're super committed. We got about 12 or 13 kids going there. We got a 7th grade coach that has already been practicing with them, throughout June. When it's all said and done, our 8th grade might have more contact days in than anyone else. And I know they had a good season last year, lost in the championship at the KMAC, so it's pretty cool to see a group of kids that are pretty hungry like that to get better. And I know they're really looking forward to Finley camp. So, overall, I always get surprised because a lot of times when we start the summer, I always think, man, this might be the year where we're kind of struggling to get kids at stuff. And then we show up for an 11 o'clock practice on the first day, and there's 32 kids in the gym. And, it just reminds me that we're pretty lucky. We get very good commitment. So, I can't complain. And I know for a fact, Travis, you probably know this too. I don't know who all you talk to, but most coaches would tell you participation for June basketball is down in general, and it's tougher to get kids at stuff. And, it's just the way it's going to be. I mean, you're not going to get a kid who's, paying a lot of money to play travel baseball, and that's okay. They want to get better baseball. They want to travel. It's a lot like vacation setting where they get to play. Grant, of course, we know Grant. He's got a little bit of a shoulder thing that bothers him. So, he's going to his senior year. We don't really want to risk that. He'll be going with us to Finley, but he's not going to play. We got seniors that are starting to work, and think about what they're going to do after graduation next year. So they got to pay for gas or insurance, So it's tough. There's a lot of different things going on. I'm lucky in the sense that we've everything we had on the schedule, we've been able to attend. Let me say it that way. Sometimes I'd like a couple more guys, but I've been very happy with what we've had and the way the guys have performed so far.
And I think that's the right way to go with it. Some people like playing just one sport all year round, but it's also good to allow these kids to play multiple sports, do what they need to do, especially in the summer, because it won't. I personally think it won't burn them out that way, and they can come, refreshed by the time basketball season starts and want to play. But then there are some others that do want to play, and if they can come to these camps. And I just think that's the way that it should be run. And kudos to you for doing that, because it seems like it's been working since you and even Coach Ruth have been there, that they want to come here. It doesn't seem like they're forced to, and it's paid off.
Yeah, I mean, it's all great points. I'll reiterate again how lucky I'm here because, our head football coach, myself, our head baseball coach, we're all very close, very great friends, and we share athletes. And we know that if we want all three of our programs to be successful, that includes track and stuff too. And I'm very close with those guys as well. But the majority of the athletes that we share are football and baseball players and wrestlers. And we all work together, seemingly because, a school like Northmore, where we're small Division III or big D4, whatever we are with our student body, we need our best athletes playing all of our sports. And so, I don't want to wear on kids and say you have to be at basketball stuff when they may want to go football or baseball, and because I want those kids in the winter, and I think the rest of our coaches realize that as well, and our ability to work together helps, and it's not like that at every school, and we're super lucky that we all have pretty good relationships here and have that kind of perspective.
And honestly, I think that should be the way across every school. That they should, if you're able to work with the other coaches, it's just going to go a lot smoother than I just want these kids to myself. And that's just that's selfish in that way. But let the kids kind of decide how they want to play their summer, things like that. Back to basketball though. I kind of know this answer because I've been to a couple practices and I went to the NAS with you over the weekend, but has anyone emerged from these camps that you think, hey, they could be the fourth or fifth guy on this varsity squad, or maybe somebody that can come off the bench and give you quality minutes?
Yeah. I mean, I'll go through the whole list. I mean, we have, Jackson and Grant, Hunter, and Drew coming back as starters. Max was our other starter. When Max was injured, Bryson Kern started. He's been a couple practices, been to Buckeye Valley and Bucyrus. He's had some very good scrimmages, looked very good, He's a hustle guy, he's an offensive rebounding guy, he's a very good finisher, he's a very good free throw shooter, too. And I think that's one of his underrated assets that's going to help us next year because he'll get some boards and draw some fouls. Then we've the two sophomores that played JV last year. They started playing JV at the end of freshman year, played full-time JV last year. Varsity football players, varsity track runners are itching, to play varsity basketball, and they're going to be varsity basketball players. AJ Bauer and Bo Landon really had a great summer.
Yeah.
You were sitting on the bench with Dalton. I think AJ made like 8 threes, probably had 25 to 30 points in the 30. Yeah. Yeah, he knows, he's a very self-aware kid. He knew that if he wanted to play with us, before he was a senior, he's going to have to play good defense. And kid's probably led us in steals this summer. He's been very good defensively, very good rebounding. And then he shot the ball well, and he's starting to develop an ability to drive too. And he's very committed in the weight room. He's a very good athlete, and if he can develop an ability to drive too, that's going to be great. But just to have another outstanding shooter on the floor, with our guards already that can shoot, the sky's the limit really for us. Looking at him, Bo and Bryson Kearns and Drew Hammond, they're all very similar. He's a great offensive rebounder, great finisher. His 4x4 team plays fourth at state. He was the anchor of that. He's lightning fast, and he can go from zero to really fast in a short amount of time. So it's really fun to just get a rebound and throw it to him down the full court, for a layup this summer when he gets out and runs, because not many people are as fast as him. Got to give credit to, Logan Caudill too.
Yep.
He was a junior last year that played JV. He's worked his tail off in the weight room this spring. He's put a lot of time in the gym over the years. He's had a lot of fun this summer for basketball, been playing a ton. He's gonna get some time for us too next year. We're also bringing back Isaac Black, who was about 6th or 7th man last year for us, and he's had a good summer as well. So, it's a good problem to have. We got a lot of talent, Travis, and so It's been fun this summer to kind of mix our lineups and see what works. Because even with the 4 starters we have coming back, these kids want to compete, want to start, and so they're all teammates. That we have pretty good chemistry, but I think everyone knows that we're still fighting for spots, which is kind of bizarre with how our season ended and we ended on such a good note. But I think anyone will tell you, I probably said this in the past, probably sound like a broken record, but competition is what makes a team better, and we've got a lot of it right now, and that's a lot of fun.
And also the want to not get a silver medal but a gold medal at the district championship game if
That's
you guys
right.
are able to make it back too. That helps out as well because you have like you said, you have a
We'll do our
stacked
best.
squad. You only lose 2 players, one of them a starter in Max Lauer, but you have a lot of guys that, as you just said, could come and help fill in. So this should set up for not only hey, maybe you make a run tomorrow, get some momentum, but this should set up well for you guys once we get to November and everything else. One more thing, since I am Travis Big League Berardi, and I have to mention West Virginia at least once every show. Have you heard about the Huggins situation?
Yeah, but I saw. I didn't read up on it too much. I just saw a couple tweets. Yeah, I don't want to comment. You can probably fill me in on more. I just saw that he resigned.
Yeah, he,
There you
he got pulled over for a DUI in Pittsburgh coming back from a
go. Okay.
camp. He had a bunch of empty Miller Lite cans in a bag in the back of the car. He blew a .251, which is probably kills some animals if they had that much alcohol. But that, along with the comments he said about Xavier a couple months ago, that was the last straw, and he had to resign. But the big thing is, to me, is they recruited a bunch of transfer portal players and some other good players that are still there. They were pretty much getting it for this is the year for Hugs because he's probably done after this season. And my question to you as a coach, right now it's seeming like at least the core of the players are not going to get into the transfer portal because starting from yesterday, they have 30 days to announce if they're going to get into the portal. But what would you do if you're an AD in that situation? Because you are also an AD in a high school, but would you keep internally with your head coaches to try and keep these players? Because these assistant coaches are the ones that helped recruit these kids. They've worked with them already.
Sure.
They're going through camps right now. They're actually going to Italy to play at the end of the month. What would you do there? Would you try and go after somebody? It's June. There's probably not a lot of big-name coaches anyway, but what would you do in this situation?
Yeah, I think I'd rely heavily on the rest of our staff. You know, uh, God forbid, hopefully I can coach for a long time, but if something stopped me from doing it, the kind of relationship that our assistant Maddox has with our guys, and it's on a very, very much smaller scale. But I would say a lot of times players get more connected to an assistant coach. I would say it's almost how it was when I was with Zach, because I could be a little bit more of a player's coach, and the assistants can coach or can focus on those kinds of things. So I would go to the staff and rely heavily on them, and they probably have a good pulse on the people that they believe they could keep and the ones that were coming for Coach Hug. So, I think you probably make a list. You go through all of the people you thought you were going to get. You rank them in order of who love West Virginia, who love these assistant coaches, and who love Coach Huggins, and you try to keep as many of those kids as possible because we don't. I don't know a ton about college basketball, but you and I, it doesn't take a genius to know that you want the best players in the country, and so if you got some big time top recruits that are just the best players around, you gotta do whatever you can to keep those guys.
And on the other hand, if these players stay, could this be something that rallies them around to maybe have a great season for maybe Coach? Like, we came here to play for him. We knew it was probably going to be his last year, and let's still go through with it to honor the stuff that he did, not the bad things that he did off the court, but what he was able to do to these players. I know there's so many alumni that says like he helped me out, he helped my family out. He does a fish fry every year for the Norma Ray Huggins Foundation, which is for cancer research, everything like that. But I know it's, especially in these days, one or two bad things pretty much dirties the rest of your resume for everything else you
Yeah.
did. But could this also round these players up and help them maybe make this a special year for him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, regardless of, what happened with him in the end, I don't, I think history will judge him for the type of coach he was. And I think, like you said, his former players and the people he works with are really going to, tell us who he is. And, I've never met him personally, but been to Eastern Ohio, seen Larry Huggins in action. He's close with a lot of, my high school coaches' friends. And, we saw him both at the state tournament this year. Yeah, they were watching, Centerville pick Central game. So, you know, I I think they can rally and still have a good year. A lot of times, adversity does breed that kind of stuff. Um, it, uh, that kind of external motivation, I think, is a real thing in athletics. Um, so I think the person that they find to replace him is important. But even though he's, resigning, I don't think he's ever going to be gone from the program. I think he's going to have some kind of impact this year. I would venture to guess, he would stay on in some capacity just to help, maybe sustain or obtain some of these players and help with the transition, and that kind of thing. And, I hope at the end of the day he's not judged for his final actions. If we were all judged on our worst actions, uh, anyone can make any kind of assumptions about all of us. We've said things, done things, made mistakes. So, unfortunately for him, he's in a role where you don't get many slip ups. He's a public figure. He's a
Yeah.
famous guy. He's a Hall of Famer. You know, so it's weird. It was weird how it all happened because I was just reading a book called A Coaching Life, where one of the coaches in there uh, started with him um, at Eastern Ohio, where they were running the camp with his brother, and then what was the first? It's slipping me now. I'm not even going to think about it. We're the first NAIA that they coached at in Ohio. Whatever, made him a national power in 2 years, and then Huggins went to Florida, and this guy went to Triway. Uh, and it was
That's right.
just
It was
interesting
Triway.
how
Yeah.
it all happened because I literally just read about his beginnings with one of his best friends, and then I saw a tweet a couple minutes later, and I thought it was one of those gag accounts. So that's one of those where you have to like do a little research, make sure that's not a false report or whatever. You never know when you're on Twitter what's a fake account, what's not. But back to your original question, I'm rambling. Yes, I think the players can find motivation in this and rally around it and still have, still make a year out of this year.
Yeah, and I think he should have resigned after everything that happened, but I just hope it doesn't tarnish everything else good that he has done.
Sure.
But I think that'll wrap it up. I'm going to let you go, Blade, because I'm going to see you in about 14 hours when we get on the bus to Findlay. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, as always, Coach Berardi,
Yeah,
it's been a pleasure.
it's been a pleasure, sir. I'll see you
Love
tomorrow.
that graphic.
Right? It's AI. Look at that. That's
Nice.
Golden Knights slam dunking. You
All
just
right.
search that. It's crazy what the computers can do now. Tell the boys I said hello. No fire trucks, no cops going by this time, so that's a good thing.
Yep. All right, buddy. We'll see you.
See ya.